first thing is, forget what you think you know about the Old West. It ain't like them dime store novels and magazines you get down at the Mercantile. Them's a bunch of hogwash.
Now is your chance to catch the New Mexico Centennial Year production of the original play, Tuck. Tuck is a rip-roaring one-man show that tells the story of Grant County Deputy Sheriff Dan Tucker.
In the early days, them Butterfield stagecoaches run 24 hours a day. High-speed coach with a 6-horse team, they did 4 or 5 miles an hour.
A real-life hero of New Mexico's territorial days. Tucker was a lawman in some of the most dangerous locales during the deadliest period in New Mexico history.
Over the next 3 weeks, I arrested more than a dozen of that Cowboy Gang. It took about a month, but I finally convinced most of Deming's misfits to take up residence somewhere outside of Grant County. I went back to Silver City, having done my duty.
Dan Tucker and his shotgun were two of the greatest civilizers in the county. From the Silver City Enterprise, 1892. A one-man show that transports the audience back to the heyday of the Wild West. The script deftly mixes history and personality with just enough bits of humor and gunplay. An ideal Old West lawman looking back on his dangerous career on the occasion of New Mexico's statehood.
I was crossing the street from my hotel to the saloon to wet my whistle when I heard this voice behind me saying, "Turn around, you no-good, lily-livered, back-shooting mongrel," or something equally as flattering. Well, I spun around. That was my first mistake.
Think Hal Holbrook's Mark Twain if he were packing heat. David Fryxell, The Desert Exposure.
Tuck takes place in Silver City, New Mexico on January 6, 1912, the day New Mexico attained statehood. Now an old man nearing the end of his trail, Tucker recalls his first-person accounts of well-known and not-so-well-known events in southwest New Mexico's history in an enlightening, entertaining, and humorous style.
They was a gaining ground. Old Bill, he'd throw a shot at him every now and then to keep him honest, but I figured our chances of winning that race were 2, slim and none. But I laid the raid in them old mules, and they run like Kentucky racehorses. Yah! Yah!
Deputy Dan Tucker's rollicking reenactment is an evening of rip-roaring fun and excitement. Randy Carr's writing and performing depicts old Silver City, complete with gunfights, poker games, and scenes of daily life, all without the dust and the saddle sores. An entertainment the whole family is sure to enjoy. Nancy Cliff.
In addition to being deputy sheriff, Tucker became Silver City's first town marshal, a special agent for both the Wells Fargo Stagecoach Line and the Santa Fe Railroad, and a deputy United States Marshal for the Southwest Territory.
I've got to tell you, I loved this show. The stories, the set, the props, and Deputy Dan, he created a world different from ours and kept us there. Mesmerized until he took his final bow. It was a great show. Jeannie Miller, Western Institute of Lifelong Learning.
Tucker was a better lawman and more dangerous than more redoubtable high-profile figures such as Wyatt Earp and Wild Bill Hickok. Yet, he is practically unheard of today largely because he lacked the ability or the need to exploit himself. Leon Metz, Forward to Dangerous Dan Tucker by Robert Alexander.
All but overlooked by history, Dan Tucker worked in the shadows of the Earps, the Cowboy Gang, Billy the Kid, Sheriff Pat Garrett, Geronimo, and the Buffalo Soldiers. Dan Tucker trod the same streets as those most famous characters that were widely publicized and romanticized by later dime novels and writers. Fighting Indians and bandits, Dan Tucker played an important role in taming the wild frontier that was the Southwest.
Highly commendable as both history and drama, Tuck will significantly enrich our 2012 celebration of New Mexico's centennial. Larry Godfrey, author of Dancing with Gods.
No stranger to deadly shootouts, the hallmark of that period of the American West, Dan Tucker was the real deal, surviving over a dozen deadly gunfights and numerous attempts on his life. Dan Tucker's story recalls the gritty reality of the Old West as it truly was. His is the story of the Old West, early mining towns, bank robberies, dangerous stagecoach travel, the link-up of the railroad across the southern United States, and the last of the Chiricahua Apache uprisings.
Tuck enthralls us with true and often outrageous stories of hardship, violence, tomfoolery, adventure, and wit in old territorial New Mexico. Starbelsky, Silver City Arts and Cultural District.
Make plans now to see Tuck, the most dangerous lawman you never heard of.
Here's the booze and Choctaw cider, lemon extract and old Budweiser horse said bitter and the doctor's tonic. The good book said a little good for the stomach.